Mickey Henson. I've been in law enforcement over close to 30 years. I'm a constable precinct 1. I have been on my 12th year. I started in 1994 when I got my commission. I was a paramedic for East Texas EMS and Grants Lane Fire Department for 15 years. I was in construction after that, and in 2008, I decided I wanted to move over into being a constable, so I run against Barton Hepner, which is a good friend of mine. The only reason I got elected, and I'll be honest with you, because Barack Obama was running. And I was on a Republican ticket, and that kind of got me in the door. But our office works a lot of cases. I've got 4 unpaid deputies that work for me. Tommy Monk, Michael Johnson, Tim Fanning, and Burton. And they work for nothing. They work 20 hours a month. They furnish their own vehicles and do not get compensated for that. We brought the constable's office up to 2020. When I first went in there, it wasn't 2020, it wasn't 2008, it was like 10 years before that. And with the help of Tommy and my other constables, we've been able to move it forward. We work criminal cases, felony cases, we work civil cases. And I'm 68 years old. I'm an old man, but I still got a lot of life. And I can see here we got a lot of people in the audience that probably feel the same way I do. Don't tell me I'm old. Let me do the thing, and I can prove to you. Thank you.
Okay, next will be Mr. Pollard, but if you wait just a minute. Those of y'all that are over there in the candidate area, please try to keep it down some in the candidate area. Use your quiet inside voice, real quiet, please. Thank you. Go ahead.
Good evening. I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight and taking the time to care about your community and your county, to hear the ideals and the goals of each candidate up here so that you can make an informed decision on March 3rd when you go to vote. My name is John Pollard. I'm running for Constable in Precinct 1. I graduated Police Academy in 2013. I was the president of my class. I was also the chaplain of my class. I'm married to Tammy Monk Pollard. A lot of people ask me, why do I want to be Constable Precinct 1? I have a huge passion for helping people. I spent 13 years in the hospice field, taking care of terminally ill patients and their families. I've volunteered countless hours in every nursing home all over East Texas. I spent a lot of time with the youth. I care about the community being stronger and being in more unity with each other. We accomplish more when we think on the same page. As your constable, you will see your tax dollars at work. You will see me at the community events. I will apply for grants and scholarships to acquire a canine partner. I will work with all the branches of law enforcement. I will be involved with the schools, talking to the youth about bullying and drugs. I will help the churches and the local businesses set up security teams. I'm very passionate about what I do, and I hope on March 3rd, when you go to vote, you'll vote for me, John Pollard, your Constable, Precinct 1.
Yeah, Mr. Burton and Mr. Ison need to switch places. Sorry. Yeah, Mr. Burton, you'll be first. Thank you. Go ahead.
Hello.
Burton.
Hold it up closer, Heath. I'm sorry. There you go.
I'm running for Constable Precinct 2. I've been active in law enforcement since for about 19 years. I started out my career as an explorer and on the Bloodhound team when I was 17. Been involved with law enforcement. While on that program, that's where I began to know that I wanted to be a law enforcement agency officer. So I've been found my passion doing that, going out and working and looking for people, and I wanted to be a canine unit all my whole career. So I started doing a lot of search on canines and drugs and looking for different situations. So I said, I'm going to go to police academy. So I went to police academy in 2013. 2012. Got out in 2013. I was employed by Mineola Police Department upon completion of the academy. Started working there. Got to become canine. Came back home got employed with the police department here in Canton. Wanted to come back home to work in Zandt County. I always told CB Wiley that once I got my goals and my experience that I would going to run for constable one day. So I've got my experience. I believe what I can do to be a constable for the community, and just do what I can do out there. Well, this is nerve-wracking. Talk all day long, but this is terrible. I appreciate y'all come out and support me March 3rd, and vote for me to be the next constable in Precinct 2. Thank you.
And Mr. Ison, 2 minutes. Hold that mic up close.
Got it. Hi, I'm Jesse Ison. I'm your Precinct 2 constable, and I'm running for re-election. I had the honor and privilege to run a campaign with CB Wiley before. And he said when he first started out, he said, if you don't know who I am, I don't know what rock you've been hiding under. I'm not quite there yet, so I want to tell you a little bit about myself. I grew up in Rockwall, Texas. I graduated from Terrell Christian Academy. I spent 8 years in the Marine Corps, active duty, where I obtained the rank of Staff Sergeant, was a non-commissioned officer in charge of an F-18 Ordnance Division, and served 2 tours overseas. After the Marine Corps, we moved to Canton in the Old Bethel community, where my family and I have been residing for the last 22 years. Shortly after moving to Canton, I became general manager at the Dairy Palace. After that, I became store manager at Tractor Supply in Canton. In 2008, I decided to pursue my dream and become a law enforcement officer. I was hired by the Gun Barrel City Police Department, where I served for many years, and continue to serve as a reserve officer. While serving for Gun Barrel Police Department, I worked heating and cooling on my off-duty hours. About 6 years ago, I acquired my own state HVAC license and started Captain Air heating and cooling. After being asked by several people to run for constable in Precinct 2, I began making myself a candidate for that position and was finally elected the last term and have been serving in that capacity since. I'm running for re-election because much of the outpouring support and requests for me to do so. I really enjoy serving in law enforcement, and what better place to do that than there is in Precinct 2, where I live and raise my family. I really feel strong. My strong suit is being a people person and being down to earth and easy to talk to, especially for those people who I feel are a lot like myself and embrace the country lifestyle and want to raise their family in a peaceful community. I appreciate your support. Vote Jesse Ison for constable.
Mr. Deen.
Can you hear me? Hey, I heard to do public speaking, you're supposed to picture everybody in their underwear. That's not good advice. I made that mistake already, but let me tell you who I am. First of all, I want to tell everybody thank you for coming. All of us, I got respect for everybody up here. I got respect for everybody who's going to the stage tonight. I mean, we open ourselves up for something we believe in, just to get criticism and judged. And so guys, you know, I really appreciate everybody, and just keep that in context that we're all opening up for you. And everybody's got their eyes on us, and we're doing the best we can. Let me tell you a little about my history. I went to the police academy 12 years ago. I really, truly loved it. I was a reserve in West Point, Texas. While I was a reserve, I did an event called Fun Day on Sunday. It was a kids' safety event. I had a fishing tournament called Get Hooked on Fish, Not on Drugs. We had 700 kids show up to it. The next year we had 800. Why am I running? I'm running because I've got a fight in the dog. I got kids that live and go to school in precinct. Oh, I got 1 minute left. That live in the precinct that I live in. It's important to me to be able to apply passion, aggression, have drive. I feel like that's what we're currently missing in our precinct. And it's nothing personal. It's just that's who I am. The reason I got out of police work is I started my own business. My dad's Deen, the guy who took brisket from Wills Point around the world. And what I've done is I've followed suit. But I've always had this hankering to get back to it. I'm glad to be up here today, guys. And another thing I was told, guys, I was told that you already know who you're going to vote for before we even get up here. Please pay attention, because I hope that's not true. So thanks everybody for coming out tonight. I'm going to be aggressive and bring passion to it. I talked to the commissioners already, and they said that if there's ever a time where the funding doesn't match up, I'm allowed to do fundraising. I'm not going to bring strain on the community. I'm not going to bring stresses on the precinct. That's what I specialize. That's what I do for a living, guys. Thank you, guys. Thanks for coming out tonight.
Mr. Tisdale.
Yeah, let me introduce myself. I'm Robert Tisdale. I'm your current Precinct 3 Constable and seeking re-election. The first question you ought to ask yourself as a voter is, what makes that man qualified to be my constable? Let me tell you, I've spent 40 years doing community service in and around the Wills Point area. I spent 2 years as a deputy sheriff, 27 years as a volunteer fireman, 25 years as an EMT paramedic, and 11 years already as your constable. So I have a heart for community service. Let me explain some of the duties that we do that are different. A lot of people don't understand or don't know exactly what the constable's role is in law enforcement. We have the same duties as any other law enforcement officer or deputy sheriff. But we also, it is put on us by the Constitution of the state of Texas that we serve papers just as the sheriff's office does. Primarily out of the JP Court. It is our responsibility to bail the JP Court provide security for him. Not just Precinct 3 JP Court, but JP Courts in and around the state of Texas. We serve citations, which are small claims lawsuits. We serve writs. I serve a lot of evictions in Wills Point. And from that come writ of possession, writ of re-entry, writ of retrieval. We serve subpoenas. We serve divorce papers. We serve child custody papers. We work with sex roundup offenders. We do warrant service. We also patrol. We assist and cover other officers. We supervise community service work. There are many roles in and around what your constable is doing. I've been doing it for 11 years, and I think I'm your most qualified candidate to keep doing it.
Okay, this is a question to all of you, and Mr. Henson, if you'll respond first. What do you see as the primary law enforcement issues in your precinct, and what are your plans to address those issues?
The main thing is money. We have to have a certain budget we work under. That budget we go in and give to the county commissioners every year. We ask what we want. They give us what they want us to have. So money's going to be the main thing, because we need equipment, we need supplies. I would love to have 2 paid deputies under me, and I guarantee you can ask my deputies. 2 paid deputies, we can shut precinct 1 down. I'm talking about the drugs and the stealing, and the commissioners are doing all they can. I know, but I go over there all the time and get along good with them. My commissioners help me get equipment, and I appreciate that. But that's what it'll take, money.
All right, Mr. Pollard, then, if you'll answer.
I think the biggest problem we have is drugs, which is one of the main reasons that I stated earlier in my opening statement. I will apply for grants and scholarships to acquire a canine partner because of what my opponent just said. It costs money to do that. There's ways out there to acquire that. There's NFL football players that will pay for that. There's all kind of monies out there that will pay for that. That canine drug will help us put a hurting on these drug dealers in our community. Not to mention, some of the money that's confiscated from all of that can go back into the money problem that we have for our budget.
All right, Mr. Burton.
I believe everybody's gonna be the same. It's gonna be drugs. Drugs out there need to be out there as much as we can be seen and controlled. Get the community out, looking for everything, any kind of suspicious activity. Have certain numbers that they can call. You know, direct. Call us direct. The drugs out there are so bad, and that's what's leading to burglary. You get the drugs, you can start getting their traffic stops and stopping them folks, and you arrest. You know, get the drugs off the streets, which leads to get the burglaries. The burglars out there. If you just got to be seen. You got to get the precinct watch program, get them real active, get involved with them, kind of show them, teach them what to look for, and to be more proficient out there.
All right, Mr. Ison.
All right, just so I don't sound like an echo, that is, I agree with a lot of that. I also think that communication between departments could be even better, or some kind of system to warn the community. Automatic dial a phone you can sign up for, where it automatically gives you a voice message of maybe potential crime going on in your part of the community. Pretty much in precinct 2, if we can keep the criminals from coming from Henson and Kaufman County, we'd be doing pretty good.
Mr. Deen.
Criminals. You know, they all work together. Drugs lead to robberies. Drugs lead to burglaries. You know, we had 33 burglaries in our precinct last year. That's 33 families who came home and found that their kids' stuff had been rifled through. Man, that's not okay. My solution for this, one of them is, we need reserves. We're the only precinct without reserves. Out of 4 precincts, 3 of them have reserves, and we don't have any. I've asked why, and I feel it's just no desire to manage. So if we can put heat forward, be aggressive, have passion. The precinct watch program, they drove 37,500 miles last year. I've got people from Rolling Oaks coming tomorrow night to that meeting. Why? Because I got Rolling Oaks we got to deal with. So I think it's going to need passion, drive, and somebody with just a game plan. I see a lot of eligible people out here who would contribute if they were just simply asked to. So that's my plan.
Mr. Tisdale.
Partly I agree with Mickey with what he said. He said 2 more deputies. I think one of the biggest law enforcement needs in this county is our sheriff's department needs more manpower. They are working shorthanded and they're working around the clock. The guys are exhausted and still trying to do an excellent job out there. I think the pay scale with the sheriff's office, we know we have drugs and issues in this county. We know we have burglaries. We know we have thefts. One of the easiest ways to prevent that is more eyes and ears on the street. I have had reserves in the past. Some of those reserves have been successful, some not. It is my decision at this time that I choose not to have reserves, and I'll be glad to explain when I have time to any of you that want to ask me why. I'll tell you my reasons why after we get through here.
And was there some rebuttal to Mr. Pollard's statement?
Mr. Pollard said, go out and get a grant. Well, you can ask my deputy, we've tried. There's red tape here, there, and everywhere. If we're gonna go out and get grants, let's get a grant to get a deputy. I mean, that would be the way to go, but you can't do it. you gotta have a secretary to apply for them grants. If we come off the streets and apply for a grant, I guarantee it takes a lot of work. And then you're gonna get grants, well, you're not out there working. So it's not feasible to get a grant, not for us.
Mr. Deen, you want to respond to something? Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Pollard, if you want to respond.
Not feasible to get a grant. Wow. There's lots of grant money out there. Grand Saline did it for their canine dog. I'm willing to do those extra hours. It is a lot of work. It is a lot of work. It just has to be done. Not scared of work.
Mr. Deen, did you want to respond to something Mr. Tisdale said?
Yes, ma'am, I would. I'm putting the lid back on. You talk about beat on the streets. You know, like I said, we're the only precinct without reserves. If the other three can have them, why can't we? You know, I think there's a filtration system you got to do based off of my history of management and interviewing to find out who the right people are. I've already got a guy from Dallas County wanting a reserve. Do you know what a reserve charges us to be on the streets? Nothing. And the other constables require 20 hours a month each. So that's 83 hours a month of law enforcement just in our precinct. I gotta stop now. Thank y'all, guys.
This question is also for all of you, but Mr. Pollard can answer first. There is a concern that some of the candidates run a business or have other employment that would impact their effectiveness to perform constable duties and work full-time for their citizens. Please clarify your intention in this regard.
Full-time constable, no other job. Thank you very much.
Mr. Burton, you're next.
Can you repeat the question, please?
Sorry. There is a concern that some of the candidates run a business or have other employment that would impact their effectiveness to perform their duties. Please clarify your intentions in this regard.
Be a full-time constable. I do own a business in town. I own the gun store there in town, but it only requires one person. I have someone that works there to hold the shop down.
As I said earlier, I do have an HVAC company. My wife currently runs the office side of it, and I have 2 managers. I have 5 technicians total that run out there and pretty much do all the field operations. I haven't been involved in the day-to-day operations of my business for the last 2 years. It's runs by itself. I might get a 30-minute debrief in the morning and the same in the evening just to know what's going on. But I'm not actively out there every day working in the air conditioning. I'm serving as your constable. And just pick up the phone and call me if you ever need me to find out.
Mr. Deen.
Family. My wife, she's currently running it. My dad's Eddie Deen. He did pretty good with barbecue before I came around. He's my partner. So I got a lot of structure in place. I'm rarely involved in the restaurant. With the restaurant though, I've created a program called Buy the Badge, where a customer can come in and buy a badge for $5, add it to their meal, and that feeds a police officer a free meal. Fire, police officer, and EMTs. Through that program, I made relationships with every other county around us, many federal and state agencies. I've had meetings with, 30 seconds. I've had meetings with DPS investigators through that program. It's opened up opportunities for me. So the restaurant can run itself. My wife, she's over there. She'll blush when I point at her. She does a great job. And as I said, family. I trust my family, guys. I know we can accomplish the goal, and it's been doing it for about a year now without me. So thank you, guys.
And Mr. Tisdale.
Yes, I have no other responsibilities other than being your constable. I have no other interest again other than being your full-time constable, and that's what I'm doing.
And Mr. Henson.
There's no such thing as a 40-hour work week for a constable. I'm gonna tell you, I get up at 6:30 in the morning, I go to 6:30 at night. Tonight, it's gonna be about 10:30, and that's every day. Sunday, I try to go to church, I get out after church, and I get out and patrol. The visibility out there with that marked unit is more deterrent than a whole army of officers out there. So that's what we gotta do. We gotta get out and work, and that's what I do. I put in a lot of hours, and if you wanna ask any judge or any law enforcement official in this county if 5910 works. Thank you.
Mr. Deen, do you want to rebut?
Back to what we mentioned earlier, I've done my research, I figured how far back, and this is, I've known Mr. Tisdale my whole life, so that's real uncomfortable up here standing next to him, I'll be honest with you, but I've done my research, and I know in the last 3 years there hasn't been a charge filed for the DA's office. It's all public information. So how much time do I need to get at least one charge filed? I'll have plenty of time. Like I said, I got kids in these schools. That's my priority. My legacy is not going to be brisket. My legacy is going to be help my community.
Mr. Tisdale?
Yes, I will say I haven't filed any cases with this attorney, but I'm not an experienced investigator. I've never claimed to be an experienced investigator, and I'm not sure my opponent here is aware of the civil process that comes through JP3's office up here. The eviction, the writs that I mentioned earlier, I'm not sure he realizes the amount of time that takes to start doing that. Typically, I'm not dispatched by the sheriff's office for burglaries or thefts or that kind of stuff, so they handle those kind of things. That's where our experienced investigators are at.
We're going to move on. Next question.
All right, this is to everybody, but Mr. Ison, you'll be answering first. Abandoned or stray animals are a growing concern in Van Zandt County. The Texas Agricultural Code calls for constables to seize, impound, notify owners, and then sell impounded animals at auction. Please explain your position on this duty.
I think when it's talking about the constables' roles there as far as season, and if you go out there and serve a writ, a possession where you take over the, say somebody has a judgment against them, they lost the civil suit, then we're ordered to go and see what we can levy on. That's, I think, what it's applying to there. As far as just regular animal control, it's technically not the constable's office that's responsible for that. I have, however, taken that role on. I've had SPCA officers that I have one current. At one time I had two. They were very active with helping with the abandoned animals. Animals being abused, filed a lot of cases. One time we seized 70 horses at one time. So I've tried to be proactive in that. I have a heart for animals. And we just do the best we can. We really need a full-time animal control officer in Van Zandt County.
All right, Mr. Deen, you need me to read the question again?
No, ma'am, I'm good. I was out rolling oaks and I saw a lot of stray dogs. So it piqued my interest. So I started doing some research into what the possibility is right now. And there's not, it's pretty limited, to be honest with you. But what I did figure out is at one point Canton had offered for a fee to take all the strays in the county. The fee was not reasonable in the sense at that moment. But I've already reached out to people who foster animals and they're overwhelmed as is. And I said, if we do fundraisers, if I help organize the fundraiser to raise the money to pay for this fee, are you committed? Now I want you to think, how many here know somebody who fosters animals? So there is a lot of people who are willing to get involved and accomplish the task. So like I said, I do my research. I drive, I push, I lead. That's my strength. So that's my solution to the problem.
All right, Mr. Tisdale.
Yes, one thing in this county, it's very expensive to house, take care of that kind of situation. And our county commissioners have deemed that just not necessary at this point in time, or have not provided funds for the opportunity for us to do that. I've contacted SPCA on numerous times when we've found abused animals, whether it's dogs, cats, cows, horses. I've used them several times. So we are trying to work and help create a solution to the problem, but it's an expensive solution.
Mr. Henson. It says abandoned or stray animals are a growing concern in Van Zandt County. The Texas Agricultural Code calls for constables to seize, impound, notify owners, and then sell impounded animals at auction. Please explain your position on this duty.
Well, if your animal gets out, the first thing we do is we go out there and we try to contact you. We're going to try to find the owner of that animal. If the sheriff's office has to pick it up, it's going to go into quarantine, and that's where it's going to be till the JP rules on it. And the JP is the one that makes the final decision on it, not us. But we're very diligent. I'm sure 99% of the time we find the owners. And they work real good with us too, the owners. And they've got a cow book. They can tell you if you got a cow in that area, they can tell you to go see you. And it's not a growing concern. It is a concern. Thank you.
Mr. Pollard.
It is a huge problem, and especially outside the city limits, out in the country where we live, people dump dogs, cats all the time. My wife is notorious for feeding those, getting on Facebook, trying to find somebody to take them. She does a great job at that. There's a lot of resources out there for fostering animals and trying to find those animals homes. And that's all we can do is try to find them a home before they are euthanized.
All right, Mr. Burton.
Like I said, like Constable Ison said, we just have to, work with the SPCA, the county, to try to work something out with the city of Canton again to be able to take in dogs, and actually be able to seize them versus sell them. Like Mr. Henson said, we'd have to wait till the JPs ordered that to be able to seize and then go do with the funds. There is a big concern with wild animals, running dogs, horses being sick. Constable Ison, he did do a big case right down the road from my house, and he did a good job on that. But we got limited resources, so we got to make resources to just work on different resources to be able to get better help.
Is there any rebuttal? Mr. Deen.
Sorry for speaking so much, but I want to reiterate the cost I was told to deal with this problem. Now, I think it's off the table. And I'm not gonna, it was $20,000 a year, okay? My aunt, Jeannie Deen, on this month, the 20th, she's taking a course on grant writing because she's having so many dogs come through her personal kennels that need to be fostered. So I'm trying to get the pieces together, guys. It's people. It's people. I'm a human. Everybody else is humans. We can accomplish these tasks if everybody is organized and on the same page. Gotta go.
This one is also for all of you, but Mr. Deen may answer first. What are your specific qualifications and experiences to handle the administrative and financial management responsibilities of the constable office?
I've seen you ask questions all night. I've been intimidated by your questions. I'll be honest with you. You've been pretty aggressive. Let me tell you, like I said, I've run a business since I was 19 years old. It's the food business. You know how many employees I have to manage? I have to manage employees that are coming in at $8, $9 an hour. I have to find quality. I have to filter them. The food business, I'm trying to make a dime. You know how hard it is to make a dime in the food industry? And I want you to even think about this. Think about the competition in Texas in the barbecue industry. I have to triumph over everybody else. How do I do that? I do that with relationships. Budgeting is not an issue. Finances is not an issue. You know, in today's times in society, if you own a business, you have to understand how to get that done, and I've been very successful at that. So, that's my qualifications. The rest of it's just going to be built on relationships. Like I said, I've been using my position with my business for the last, 15 years just to build relationships. And I feel like that's what's critical.
Mr. Tisdale?
Understanding budgets is probably one of my strong points. I worked for the city of Wills Point for years. I served as their EMS director, worked under city budgets. I've now been a constable under the county for 11 years, worked under their budget. I am fiscally responsible. Every year I've been a constable, I've come in under budget. I understand that I am to treat your tax dollar like it's my own money. I do that, and I try to do it responsibly, and I will continue to do that if I'm reelected.
Mr. Henson?
If anybody wants to come by and look, here's my budget. There's nothing to this budget. My 10-year-old grandchild figured that budget out. You gotta get everything you get. You gotta get it cleared through the commissioner's court. It's not what we want, it's what we can get them to give us. And as I said before, my commissioner, which is precinct 1, has worked good with me. And I learned the first 8 years I worked with him, I went over and I stood up and I argued with him every day. My last 3 years, I went over and worked with him to make our county better. And it works a lot easier when you work with them instead of against them. Thank you.
Mr. Pollard?
Budgeting is definitely one of my strongest points. I told you earlier in my introduction, I did hospice for 13 years. The last 8 of those years, I was vice president of the company. We built $300,000 a month through that company. And every little piece of the pie has to come back out of that. So budgets and finances are definitely one of my strong points.
Not yet. Mr. Burton?
The budget, just like Brent did, me selling guns, he's selling barbecue. You've seen the internet. You don't make very much money on guns, so you have to do what you can do to be able to bring the money in. You can only work with what you get. You can't add something to it. You just have to do what you can do with what they give you.
Mr. Ison?
Now, Mickey said it best. There's not much to a constable's budget out there. I think it runs about $70,000 a year, including our salary. And our salaries ain't that much. I think I bring home about $500 a week. So that's why a lot of law enforcement here also are doing other work. I mean, you have to survive some way of doing something. I mean, if they're working as traffic, extra duty, off duty if it's traffic or wherever, but the majority of our law enforcement is bringing in income from somewhere else. So there's not much to the budget. It don't take a scientist to figure it out. And but since I've been there, I've always operated one of my budget and actually turned a little bit back in. I try to use as much as I can for things that we need, but it's always had money left over at the end of the year.
Okay, Mr. Henson, you want to respond to Mr. Pollard?
He says he worked a $300,000 budget. That's great. My budget is $69,000. That's every year. That's not, next year it'll be $300,000 more. He's overqualified evidently because we work on a $69,000 budget. Sorry.
Mr. Deen?
Y'all heard it. It's not hard to manage the budget. $69,000 isn't much. My question is, how are we turning in money when Rolling Oaks is in our precinct? Let's be honest here. There was 5 felons arrested out there 2 weeks ago. I mean, when I come to an issue that is budget limited, because y'all heard the numbers, $69,000 a year, I'll do the fundraising. I'm telling you, I don't do it because I have to. I do it because I love it. I love including the community. I love getting them involved, and I love getting them to help me accomplish these goals.
Mr. Tisdale?
Well, at this point, I'm wondering if he's going to be a fundraiser or a constable. Truthfully, when when you talk about turning money back into the county budgets us $100 a year for office supplies. Well, I share an office with the Justice of the Peace. So therefore, I have moved some of my money to the Justice of the Peace office because they're having a hard time meeting their office supplies and that kind of stuff. Those are the kind of things that you work with the county to make the county more efficient in their money and your tax dollars.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. We're going to have closing statements, 1 minute, and we'll go in reverse order with Mr. Tisdale first.
Again, I'm Robert Tisdale, and I'm seeking your support for Precinct 3 Constable. I have 13 years of law enforcement experience, 40 years of serving this community in and around Wills Point as a first responder, as a volunteer fireman, EMT, paramedic, sheriff's deputy, and constable. I have a proven record of being physically responsible to the taxpayer for doing my duties. I'm current on all my state-required licensing, training, and continuing education. I continue to maintain a good working relationship with the county commissioners, the JP offices, and the sheriff's department and local law enforcement agencies in my precinct, and also my fellow constables. My paramedic training has been crucial in my role as a first responder. I invite you to compare the qualifications that I've listed above with those of the other candidates. My hope is that I have earned your vote. If re-elected, I will continue to serve this precinct with fairness, integrity, and dedication. Thank you for your time and consideration.
I notice I'm the only one with a speech written up here, so I want you to know it's coming from the heart. What good is experience without accomplishment? We have the highest crime rate in the county in Precinct 3. I understand that it's been mentioned that there's the civil process duties. Well, I've done my research. I've asked the other constables, I said, how much time does it actually take? Everyone else told me, the figure, 20% of your time. That leaves 80% of your time to get these burglars, to get these drugs off the streets, to be effective, to be aggressive. Yeah. Oh, sorry guys, I'm getting a little pumped up here. I am going to do fundraising. You know why? Because I do not believe in limitations, and everybody up here has said money is the #1 limitation. It's not going to be passion, it's not going to be drive, it's not going to be desire. So if money is the #1 limitation, then I'll solve it. I mean, when I come to a problem, I'm going to solve it. That's what's necessary. So thank you guys for your time. Y'all have a good evening. Thank you.
Mr. Ison.
I don't know quite about the 20% time. I do a lot of sub-process too, and I'd say it's closer to probably 50%. But I also do a lot of work with the DAs, directly with the DA's office, and observe a lot of subpoenas there, so they might have a little bit more time. I've really enjoyed part of the job, just getting out and meeting a lot of citizens and helping them a little bit of recovering property or helping with pets and animals. I had a couple of my deputies and went all the way to Wisconsin to retrieve 2 stolen blue heeler dogs, and that was probably one of the highlights of my time, seeing the dogs reunite with their family and the kids. We spent a lot of time and effort on that, but it's just I love where I live. I just recently built a new house there. We're not planning on leaving. It's a great community, a bunch of good conservatives that live in our area. And I just hope that everybody get all of us like-minded people together and get them out there to vote and vote for Donald Trump.
Burton.
Let's see if I can do a little better this time. I'm not so nervous after getting to speak. I'm not no speaker. I'm police. So I told you a while ago. I went to police academy in 2013. It was 2003 when I graduated police academy. That's how nervous I was when I was up here. I've been in investigations for the last several years. I've worked with several different federal agencies. So I believe with the experience that I have working investigations and being out, I can do y'all a good job out there. I lost my train of thought again, so they're trying to think. Thank you. But I hope if y'all have any more questions, come over here and I can talk to you one-on-one a little better than talking to a big crowd. Thank you.
Mr. Pollard?
I look forward to serving the citizens of Zandt County in Precinct 1 as your constable. If I have one downfall, it's I'm a workaholic. So you get that part of me when you vote for me on March 3rd as your constable. And I mean, hey, even my opponent admits I'm extremely qualified to do this.
Mr. Henson?
Win, lose, or draw, March 4th, we'll either have a new constable in Precinct 1, which is John Pollard, and John's a good man, y'all. I've never said nothing bad against him, and I won't. He worked for me for a while, so he's a good man. But I'd appreciate if y'all would elect me, put me back in there. I think I'm gonna live 4 more years. But if I don't, I'll have somebody come in right behind me. It's just as good or better, I promise you. I already got one picked out. But I appreciate y'all coming. And first I want to say, I believe in Jesus Christ. He is my Savior and my Lord. I believe in the Constitution of the United States, Declaration of Independence, family, and then the United States of America. So God bless y'all. Be safe.